President Trump tweeting that he instructed representatives to stop stimulus negotiations until after the election. Joining us by phone is White House Deputy Press Secretary Brian Morgenstern. Brian, thank you so much for jumping on the phone. Why would the president call off these negotiations with millions of Americans out of work and suffering from this pandemic?
Well, of course, he has supported funding for jobs and for schools, for people keeping people connected to small businesses, for airlines, all of the things that everyone agrees with. In fact, we came up from $1 trillion to $1.6 trillion. Unfortunately, the Speaker decided she would rather zero than $1.6 trillion. But the fact is, the Democrats have not been negotiating in a serious way for a long time. It was the president who announced it, but they've had this posture for a while. The things that everyone still agrees on, we were still supporting, and it was just the Speaker was holding it up. The president decided it's time to move on to things we can accomplish, like a Supreme Court nominee, an excellent nominee. But the fact is, our position has always been clear that we support funding for jobs and for schools and for things connected to COVID, people who have been harmed through no fault of their own. But at some point, if they're not going to negotiate in a serious way, it's time to proceed on to other matters that we can accomplish.
Are you not worried about the economic fallout from this? We've already seen the momentum on jobs wane a little bit. We saw fewer job openings in the month of August. In the September jobs report, 661,000 jobs sounds great, but we were above 1 million in the prior months. And we have seen other economic indicators starting to slow, suggesting that initial boost, which was really helped by the enormous stimulus that you guys have already passed, is starting to really wear off here.
Well, we're seeing reason for optimism. Of course, we're expecting very, very strong growth in the third quarter. We are seeing people start to be able to reopen in a safe way around the country. We want that to continue. We've seen great momentum, of course, in some sectors, the auto sector, the housing sector, and others. We want the entire economy to be doing better, though. We want everybody who has been harmed through no fault of their own to get back to normal. Unfortunately, our negotiating partners were not willing to come to the table in a serious way, even though we had numerous proposals, even one-off funding for airlines. We came to the table with numerous proposals for jobs and for schools, things that literally everyone would agree on. But as I said, it's $1.6 trillion is a tremendously large package, and unfortunately, the Speaker decided she'd rather zero than come a little bit closer to the administration.
Brian, do you think the president's decision here was influenced by his ongoing recovery from coronavirus, that he feels it's not as big a threat to people's health and the economy more broadly as perhaps he used to think?
I don't think I would leap to that conclusion, though I would say that the president is certainly projecting confidence and strength and showing people the example that this virus is not something that should have us cowering in fear. It is a serious problem. We, of course, grieve with the many families who have been so negatively impacted by it, but we must reopen our country in a safe way because the effects of more lockdowns are even more dire. We have unreported mental health issues. We have child abuse issues. We have foregone cancer screenings. There are untold health effects that could realize in the years to come if we don't safely reopen. Mm-hmm. And so the president certainly is encouraging everyone to do that while still taking it seriously.
Is he encouraging everyone to wear a mask, Brian? Because one thing that a lot of research has shown that prevents the need for a lockdown and, in fact, therefore helps the economy is everyone wearing a mask. Is that the message from President Trump?
Certainly wear a mask when you cannot socially distance. And one of the things that folks were critiquing, of course, was last night his return to the White House when he wanted to show his strength and resilience. He was standing outside on a balcony and took his mask off at that point. That's a safe way to do it. I mean, we don't have to wear masks in the shower, okay? We have to wear masks when we cannot socially distance from people, definitely when we're not outside and we can't socially distance from people. But there is common sense has to come into this as well. And we know that we can open churches, we can open schools, we can open businesses. We just have to do it in a safe way. We're doing that here at the White House, in fact. We have cleaning crews making sure that the place is clean. We have PPE where people may need it if they need masks. We have hand sanitizer. We distance from one another. And so we are going about our business carrying on the work of the American people. We're just doing it in a safe way. And that's how many businesses all across the country have been operating, and that's what we want them to be able to do.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.